Hey everyone, and thanks for jumping back into the cryptoverse. Today we're going to talk about Cardano and its native token ADA and discuss a realistic price prediction for Cardano for this market cycle. If you guys like the content, make sure you subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up, and also check out the Telegram channel, which you can find a link to in the description below. Don't forget to check out the bull market sale on the premium list. You can lock in the low rate. And remember, if you want to earn interest on your ADA, check out the ITC stake pool. Let's go ahead and jump in. So where are we, and why are we doing another video on a realistic price prediction? Well, we've done a couple of these in the past for ADA, but now a lot of our benchmarks have changed. Okay, Bitcoin has changed, the valuation of Ethereum has changed significantly, and we know we've been going sideways for a while, therefore hopefully building out some foundation for us to build off of. Okay, so that's the idea. Now, in order to gauge what a theoretical limit to Cardano could be in the short term, we would want to look at where are the current market capitalizations of the blue chip cryptocurrencies, and those being Bitcoin and Ethereum. Okay, so Bitcoin's market capitalization is currently at around 1.053 trillion. Ethereum's coming in at a much more modest 466 billion, while Cardano is sitting all the way down here right now, approaching 56 billion. So the implication of that is that in the short term, ADA seems like it could not go to 466 billion because, well, that's where Ethereum is. And if it were to go to that level at ADA's current price, if we multiply that by the difference between, or the division of Ethereum's market cap and ADA's, that would actually put ADA at 1463. And I think that's too much. I don't think it's going to make it there. And I also don't think ADA is going to overtake Ethereum. So let's be clear about that. We want to take a pragmatic approach, not a sensationalist approach to say it's going to flip Ethereum or something like that, which is probably not going to happen. So you might look at this and say, well, does it mean that it can't go to 466 billion? It does not mean that at all. I mean, it could theoretically go there. A few months ago, we did a realistic price prediction video for ADA, and I said I think it could go to around 300 to 400 billion in terms of the market cap. And where would that put it? Well, I mean, if you know the current market cap is 55 billion or say 56 billion, let's just say 56 billion times, if this is, let's say about 7 or so. So if we were to go to say times 7, then we'd be looking at a 392 billion market cap if it went up 7x. And I mean 7x from 175 would put the valuation of ADA actually at 1225. And I think in the prior videos we did a slightly lower. We said closer to 300 billion or so maybe closer to like a 6x from the current prices, which would get you to approximately $10, which might be one of those sort of upper limits if I had to guess. Okay, if I had to guess. Now, the first retort that a lot of people will naturally have, and it's a good thing to say, is, well, Ben, how can Cardano go to 300 or 400 billion in the market cap if that's where Ethereum is? Well, we first should realize that Ethereum recently just did a 2x. So if we had been doing this video 2 weeks ago, Ethereum's market cap would have been about 50% of where it is today, which should make you think, well, hey, I mean, Bitcoin and Ethereum are probably going to go up too as the cycle drags on and on. So the implication of Cardano going to a valuation of a few $100 billion has the implicit understanding that Ethereum and Bitcoin have also trended upwards. We've done a lot of videos to show where I think Bitcoin could theoretically peak this cycle. We've done a lot of videos to show where Ethereum could go. For Bitcoin, I'm thinking somewhere between 1 to 200K. Obviously, there's a lot of people that think it'll go to 300K. I really doubt it's going to go to 300K, especially this year. If it does, great, right? If it does, great. If it is able to go to 300K this cycle, then I think it's going to be dragged out beyond 2021 would be my guess. So what if Ethereum goes to 10K? Okay, what if Ethereum goes to 10K? Well, if Ethereum were to go to 10K, then we should probably take a look at the ADA Ether valuation, all right? What do you notice about the ADA Ether valuation? By the way, I redrew some of these lines. This one, I used to have these as our sort of short-term tops, but now we've had 2 decisive breaks, one here, so we'll also draw this one up here. What do you notice about, say, this line in the sand here? It's 0.001. Okay, so if Ethereum were to one day go to, say, $10,000, and ADA is able to go back up to that level, let's say around 0.001, then it would give you a $10 ADA. Okay, a $10 ADA. And that, I mean, that would be sort of the stars aligning for ADA to go back up to these valuations at a valuation of Ethereum at the time of 10K, because the implication is that Ethereum's also doing very well. And unlike Bitcoin, you know, a lot of times Ethereum goes crazy after Bitcoin has had its, you know, has done something miraculous, and then it's pulled back some, kind of like now. And we know that, you know, that things in the market are fairly extended right now, but that doesn't mean they can't stay extended for a long time. But when you look, you know, when you look at the Ethereum Bitcoin valuation, if you look at, say, Ethereum Bitcoin, we know that Ethereum tends to move after Bitcoin moves. At least with respect to Bitcoin, a lot of times it'll move significantly after the fact. But a lot of times ADA can surge even when Ethereum's doing well. It's just that when Ethereum's putting in new all-time highs every day, that's when ADA struggles. But just the other day, Ethereum hesitated for about 3 days straight. So if we were to zoom in and go to, say, like the daily time frame here, we noticed that during this period right here, Ethereum was sort of hesitating for a few days, May 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th or so. And it was during that time, during, say, May 4th to May 7th, you'll notice that's basically right when ADA made its move to $1.75, $1.80. So when Ethereum's putting in new all-time highs every other day, or every day basically, it makes it hard for altcoins to rally. But when it hesitates, altcoins can continue to move. So I think that in the grand scheme of the cycle, you know, approaching a $10 ADA, I don't know if it's going to quite make it there. If it does, great. But I would maybe say somewhere between, like, you know, $8 to $9 plus or minus a couple dollars is probably where I would be looking for a market cycle peak. I do not think ADA can go to a $50 valuation. And the only reason I'm bringing that back up is because there's a lot of very popular videos on Cardano over the last several months that were, especially ones that were made back over here when the valuation of ADA was moving up relatively quickly, and a lot of people were calling for a $50 ADA, and I think that it's just not going to happen, and not this cycle especially, because if you look at a $50 ADA, it would actually equate to a market capitalization of approximately 1.6 trillion, which is actually about 60% higher than Bitcoin's current market capitalization. Okay, and I don't think that's going to happen. And again, maybe a retort to that as well, that would imply Bitcoin's market capitalization is higher. Yeah, I mean, I think Bitcoin can go to maybe a $2 to $4 trillion market capitalization this cycle. But if Bitcoin is at, like, say, 3 trillion, I don't think ADA can make it to 1.6 trillion, because I don't even think Ethereum can make it to 1.6 trillion, much less an altcoin. So I would be very, very skeptical about those types of price predictions, because I don't really think they take into account the market capitalization and the governing behavior of Bitcoin with ADA and Ethereum with ADA. So again, looking at the Ether, or the ADA Ether valuation, you can see that, okay, if we were to go back up to 0.001 at the valuation of $10,000 Ether, that would put ADA at approximately $10. If you're curious how to do that math, it's just 0.001. So if the decimal's here, you go 1, 2, 3, and you get to a $10 ADA. Now, what about Bitcoin? Well, with Bitcoin, it's a little trickier because, again, a lot of times ADA or altcoins may have their peak after Bitcoin has had its peak. But imagine ADA were to rally against Bitcoin up to the level that it reached in January of 2018, okay? We'd be looking at another 183% from the current prices. Now, if ADA were to go up 183% from the current prices, 183% from the current prices would actually put us right around $5. Okay, that would put us right around $5. But if Bitcoin were to go on some ridiculous run where it went to, say, let's say it goes to 150K or 140K, what would, say, be the valuation of that against Bitcoin? So let's take this valuation here. This would be 0.0000, or yeah, sorry, let's see, it was 0.008. So if we were to go to that level, let's see where that would mean. So 0.408 times, and let's just say like $120,000 Bitcoin. Well, that would put ADA at just under $10. Okay, so I do think that going to close to $10 or around there for ADA this market cycle is theoretically possible. That doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen in the next 3 months. Like, I don't think that's going to happen in the next 3 months. But one of the nice things with ADA is that it tends to do this thing, which is done so far this cycle, where it moves up and then sideways, and then up and then sideways, and then up, and then sometimes it goes down and tests the 20-week, and then up and then sideways, and then it keeps doing the same thing. And at some point, we'll probably go back down and test the 20-week. I don't know when that's going to be. And if history is any indication based on Ethereum, then it's possible we don't hold the 20-week at some point this cycle, because Ethereum at one point didn't hold its 20-week moving average, but it still did not stop it from continuing this amazing move. So I do think ADA can trend a lot closer to $10 than it currently is, but it's gonna be a very bumpy ride on the way there. There's going to be fairly significant corrections. We've already had significant corrections. We already went to $1.50 and then dumped below $1 at one point, right? If we were to take, say, a measured move, let's go to the daily. Let's go to the daily time frame here, and let's remove some of this stuff so we can clearly see what's going on. And if we take, say, a measure move from this point here down to this wick, I mean, this was a 43% drop, and I know this was a true drop because I watched the price of ADA at 89 cents. So this was a 43% drop, so it's not going to be an easy road. So I think a lot of people think that it's just going to go up monotonically, which is just simply not true. And I mean, you can see that ADA is more or less in this sort of pattern here right now, where it's very, very slowly, relatively speaking, just moving up, okay? And so this looks pretty good to me. Bitcoin's valuation is at 56.7. Again, short-term corrections I don't think are that big of a deal. We're going to get those. I'm surprised we haven't had a 40% correction yet or something larger this cycle. Shows you how strong the market is right now. That Bitcoin's still chilling at 56K, almost 57K. Ethereum is just kind of hanging out right around $4,100. Our ADA Ether valuation has been pulling back a bit. Now, I would like to use this moment to tell people, because there's a lot of people encouraging others to sell your Ethereum for ADA at this point, and I'm afraid that they'll also be the same people that'll tell you to sell your ADA for Ethereum, if it goes back down here. And I don't know if it's going to go back down here or not, and even if it did go back down there, it doesn't mean that ADA USD has to bleed, because we can see that ADA Ether has been bleeding by approximately 57%, despite the fact that ADA USD is going up. It just means Ethereum's going up faster. So I don't know if it's going to go back down to these levels or not, but if you're someone that would sell your ADA for Ether at that point, and you sell your Ether for ADA at that point, you're doing it backwards, because you're just chasing the pump, right? You're chasing the pump of one crypto for another, and it's better to accumulate them when they're quiet, and then you wait for the pump to come to you. Okay, that's the way I think you should navigate these markets. So again, if you're skeptical about market capitalizations and you think that ADA can't go to 300 billion because Ethereum's only 466 billion, and a couple weeks ago Ethereum wasn't even at 300 billion. I should remind you that back in March of 2020, Ethereum was at a $14 billion market cap. Bitcoin was at only 101 billion. And now Ethereum has gone up about 4 to 5 times what Bitcoin's was about 14 or 15 months ago. So the market cap of crypto today, of Bitcoin and Ethereum today, could help you gauge what are theoretical limits to a lot of other cryptocurrencies, not because they can go to that level, but maybe to some fraction of that level based on prior moves. But then you project out future prices for these assets to identify theoretical tops based on prior moves of ADA against Ether and ADA against Bitcoin. Interestingly, something to look at is last cycle, Ethereum started at 42 million, Bitcoin was here at 4 billion, Ethereum ended it at 135 billion. Bitcoin here was 4 billion on October 22nd, 2015, and on January 13th, Bitcoin was at 241 billion. Ethereum was at 135 billion. Now that wasn't Bitcoin's market cycle top. It was closer to 20K, not 14K, but it gives you an idea of how the times can quickly change and that new paradigm shift really takes place. And then at some point, it makes sense why there can be these nasty corrections in the market, because they've just gone up they've gone up so quickly for so long that people forget how far we've come, and then you just basically get completely wiped out at some point if you're not careful. So that's why I say be very skeptical about people throwing out $50 price predictions for ADA, because again, it would put ADA at a market capitalization of potentially approaching $2 trillion or over $1.5 trillion, which doesn't really make a whole lot of sense in the grand scheme of where we think Bitcoin could easily go, or likely go this cycle, which I think between 2 to 4 trillion. And if you think it could go higher, even then I still struggle to see ADA going to almost $2 trillion market capitalization this market cycle. I don't think it makes a whole lot of sense. So please be careful if you think that it's going to go to $50 just because someone told you it was. Look at the math. Look at where we've been before, and look at these short-term limits, because everyone was saying over here that this is the time to sell your Ether for ADA. I'm like, hey guys, this is not the time to do that, right? It's not the time to do that. So anyways, let me know what you guys think. If you want to join the stake pool, by the way, remember to go to ITC. Check out the ITC stake pool. Okay, ITC. Check that out. You can go. You can do it through the Daedalus wallet or the Yori wallet. There's a ton of different wallets you can do it from, but you can basically stake your ADA with the ITC stake pool and start earning interest. If you want to get access to the premium content, remember to check out the description below for the bull market sale. You can lock in the lower rate, so definitely check that out. Hopefully this video was informative to you in discussing the theoretical implications of where ADA could go under a market cycle blow-off top that I don't think has happened yet, but hopefully is somewhere down the road. But again, it's going to be a long and winding road. Thank you guys for tuning in. Definitely subscribe, click the bell icon to turn on notifications, give the video a thumbs up, and I will see you next time. Bye.